Hey everybody, this is DP Carol. Today we have a tough video. It's not going to be easy to watch because of the corrections that need to be made. Lately, we are experiencing a DEFCON 5 level of problems with instrument training. And the reason I say that is because I have seen these same serious problems across the board, multiple schools, different levels of certification from basic instrument ratings all the way to CFII applicants. So if you are an instrument applicant or CFII applicant, you need to listen to this because there's some serious problems that are happening and we need to correct them. The point being is that, of course, that we have safe pilots out there flying. The things I'm going to talk to you about today are going to help keep you alive. And also, for those of you who are going to be flying passengers around, potentially 200 people behind you, it's going to keep them alive. So listen up. One huge problem I've been seeing is that initial instrument applicants and unfortunately even CFII applicants, almost 100% of them have not been preparing adequately to actually fly a missed approach from an instrument approach. Specifically, what I mean is they are not actively setting up navigation to be able to fly the missed approach. They are not briefing the missed approach. And when I ask them what the missed approach is, they don't already have it in their mind when they are headed down from the final approach fix, which tells me that they are not ready for a missed approach should it be called for. Let's use an example of an ILS approach that has a missed approach predicated upon a VOR. What I've been seeing is zero tuning and IDing of the ground-based navigational aids and a complete lack of readiness to use them to navigate. I think one reason for this could be that people just say, oh, well, I would just use my GPS. It is legal for me to substitute. Well, the problem with that is when people are not trained to utilize the ground-based navigation and something goes wrong with their GPS navigation, which does happen, then they have zero backups. Another reason that this is a terrible thing to just let your student do, CFIIs, I don't need to set up anything other than I'll just rely on the GPS, is that you're not teaching them to be ready for all kinds of missed approaches. They won't have the habit pattern set that I need to do stuff and very specific stuff so that I can fly the missed approach safely. I think another reason why people are getting away with this is that the instructor tells them in advance what the outcome of the practice approach is going to be. Sometimes it's because they have to tell approach control. If at all possible, try to utilize some approaches where you do not tell your student the outcome of the approach. It is up to them to decide what they need to do because we have to develop in them a PIC mentality. So this means you don't tell them, oh, we're going to circle. Oh, we are going to go missed. Oh, we are going to do full stop. At some point when they're far enough in training, you just need to be quiet. And then guess what? You don't necessarily even want to say airport not in sight at the DA. The reason for this is what I've noticed on instrument check rides as it trains instrument pilots to wait like Pavlov's dog for that, as opposed to making a decision on their own, which is what real life is going to be like. Just, do I have the airport in sight or not? It is up to me to know, not somebody to say something. Now you think, oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's not. I see people all the time going below minimums, well, and they're just not making a decision for themselves. So you need to train them, hey, if I haven't heard anything, I haven't seen anything, I know when I'm going to go missed. It's up to me, not somebody telling me to. Okay? And if you're going to be flying around in the clouds on instruments, you better have the mentality that, hey, this is serious business. And for those of you who are going to be pro pilots, you know, yes, what we choose as careers is partly about us, but when you are a pro pilot, guess what? These procedures are not about you. It is about so that you can be safe and have solid procedures in place every single day, so that when something goes really bad, you can still keep those 200 people behind you safe. So don't get lazy, be disciplined, make your students be disciplined, make them every time set up everything on the instrument panel to be ready to navigate. I don't want a single instrument just sitting there with nothing being done. I definitely don't want them to say, oh, I'm just going to use my G1000, all right? Because that means that they don't have good habits set for whatever they're going to fly in life. Another thing, CFIIs that I have seen. I know that you have spent time under the hood training to demonstrate these approaches under the hood, as you have to do for the CFII check ride. However, I have seen the vast majority of CFII applicants are not looking outside enough. I've even had a few that didn't look outside the airplane once during the entire check ride once they got out of the pattern. When you are out with your instrument student, guess whose job it is to see and avoid? Yours. If you have that weak of habits and you haven't looked outside the airplane at all while you are training someone, then you are an accident waiting to happen. Those of you who have been raised on the pink line, who have been raised inside an ADS-B out required ring, all right, you have to actively fight against the lax, non-disciplined procedural weakness that this builds in a pilot, okay? There are lots of airplanes out there in the broad wide world who do not have ADS-B out that you will not see on the screen. So you must have good visual scan procedures. The entire National Airspace System is built on see and avoid. Even when you are on an IFR flight plan, when you are not in the clouds, look it up in the regs. Pilots are still required to see and avoid if they can. I know it's mind-blowing, but it's a basic that's being utterly forgotten these days. So, instrument applicants, when you're coming to me, if you do not set up to fly the missed approach, tune and ID all the things, back up everything, actually know what you're doing to be ready to do the missed approach. If you do not execute the missed approach properly, if you just sit there and fly along for a while, not really sure what to do, any of those things is a no-go, okay? CFIIs. If you're not looking outside the airplane, when you're not under the foggles, you're gonna fail. If you do not set up to fly your missed approaches and be ready to fly them, you will fail. In fact, for my check rides, you are not going to know what the outcome of all of the approaches are going to be. Simply for the fact is, I want to see what you are going to do when you are surprised. Because guess what? Real world flying has all sorts of surprises. Did you know that sometimes it's not even weather that might cause you to go missed from an approach? It could be loss of navigation signal, or you went full deflection, or something's wrong with the airplane, or, okay? So CFIIs, be teaching your instrument applicants the reasons that they would choose as PIC to execute a missed approach beyond just, oh, I don't have the airport in sight, okay? Because I will be asking them. We have identified a massive structural weakness in instrument training currently. My opinion is that there's multiple generations of instructors who were not making sure that people were doing the right things, and it has built into a cancer. So that's what this video is about. Cut that cancer out, okay? Change what you're doing. It's not just about passing a check ride. The reason I'm passionate about this is because you must be ready as a pilot. You must be ready, and this is how you are ready. As always, if you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'll get to them when I can. And hey, you know me at this point. I may give some feedback that is difficult to listen to, but a long time ago, I learned that the truth is going to set you free, even if at first it pisses you off. So, I am cheering for you. Thank you for listening. Let's fix this.